I think the Bible is really a product of the time in which it was written. So if you're understanding that, likely, if we look at different authors like Yahwist, Prowist, Yellowist, it's likely that it would be influenced by the highly male-dominated narratives that were going on at the time. So in terms of how it paints women, you really see a whole spectrum from really submissive women to Esther, who's one of the greatest biblical leaders, comparatively to men as well. So I think how women are painted is definitely a reflection of the fact that it was likely a book written by men, but you see semblances of really women in leadership in the Bible as well.
I think it's negative, but it's as a result of the men being prioritized more because they have more of a connection with God.
I believe that Bible has in a way painted women in a negative light, not in what it does say, but what it doesn't say in terms of rituals and Jewish customs.
I mean, I don't really know much, but from what I've learned previously, I think they're portrayed pretty positively. They're portrayed as good mothers, good important roles.
From today's perspective, it would be a negative light because women were not really seen as persons in the full sense up until less than a couple hundred years ago. So I think that should definitely be considered when analyzing and just generally reading anything from the Old Testament.
In general, I would say probably a pretty positive light. I think that in spite of them being very domestic, they're always portrayed as being good mothers and good wives and stuff like that.
Probably not as much as they should be, but overall, I think considering when they were written, the times that the Bible, how long ago it was written, they're portrayed pretty evenly.
I definitely don't think that women are portrayed as equal because whenever there's a story of them, they're always just there to be for their father to marry them to the man that they choose so that they could have kids and then continue the family, and it's really never about what they want. It's always about what their father wants for them.
To be honest, I don't really have too strong of an opinion on that matter. I just know that in my religion, in Judaism, the rights of women definitely aren't equal to men. So a couple examples, women aren't allowed on the bima, they don't count towards the minyan, and I can think of a bunch of other examples, but I would say that it's not necessarily that they're portrayed in a negative light, it's just that they don't have, command the same standing as men do.
Okay, so I don't really know. I don't think that men and women are portrayed equally in the Bible at all. What I know of the Old Testament is that men are usually heroes or prophets, and they play a really large role in kind of the advancement of the religion and whatever, and I just don't think that that women are portrayed in that way. I think that women are really seen as the people that birth the really good people.
I would say Samson and Delilah, in which case she's probably a dominant role. Because she controls she is the person who essentially changes what's going to happen in the Bible when she cuts Samson's hair. It's a pretty dominant role.
Definitely Esther, which is the dominant role, one in which she goes against society and the social norms in order to really save the Jewish people, a story that is still celebrated every year and was actually added to becoming a holiday after the original Apocrypha was written.
Definitely Adam and Eve, and I think she embodies a submissive role because she's kind of in the Bible they kind of say how she was made as part of Adam, and she's kind of the one in the story that messes up and takes fruit from the tree, so definitely more of a submissive role.
I mean, when you look at the first few lines where it said God kind of created woman for man, it kind of puts her in this submissive role, but then again you have to put it into the context of the time that it was written.
The first one that comes to mind is the Exodus of Egypt, and it's definitely more of a submissive role because it's all about Moses. Moses went and freed the people, spoke to Pharaoh, and his wife was just really there to comfort him when he went back home. She didn't really in the story they don't really say any of the courageous things she did because it's all focused on Moses.
When I think of the Bible, the first story that comes to mind would be the first story in the Bible, so Adam and Eve. And I think in that story, the woman takes on a very submissive role because it shows how she's weak and lets the snake manipulate her in the Garden of Eden, and she isn't strong enough to say no, and then she uses her wiles to make Adam equally as submissive as she is. So I don't think that paints women in a positive light. I think it paints us as a weak figure because Adam didn't give in first, but then it also shows how almost negatively women influence men in society and how we're a danger and a threat to them. So the first story that does come to mind about women in the Bible is a negative one that doesn't show us as equals.
I think they're independent, maybe. I don't think it's in spite of the Bible. I think women were given some power from the Bible, especially but in the context of the time it was written. But I think that women inherently should have power and that they deserve the power that they do have.
That's an interesting question. I think it really depends on who you're drawing leadership from. So I think, again, to look to someone like Esther, you could say someone who was resilient against their time period. That could totally inspire like a woman in leadership. But then if you're going to look at some of the cases where a woman maybe only listened to their husband or really played more of a minor role, then that would be, you would be a leader in spite of the Bible. So again, it really depends on like what stories and people you're looking at. But you could say that you're a leader because of the Bible or in spite of the Bible for sure.
Probably in spite of the Bible and its stories. I would say the Bible is just reflecting like the reality of the times. It's an unfortunate reality, but something that, you know, hopefully diminishes in the future.
I believe that a woman's power today is more in spite of the Bible because I think a lot of the reason women have inequalities is due to religion, but it is not because it's not the Bible's fault. It's what all these religious leaders and people that subscribe to these beliefs have taken this text and totally put their own meaning onto it. So I would say that women have faced a lot of inequalities in this day and age due to religion. But I don't think that's the Bible's fault. I think that's what people have done to interpret the Bible.
Probably in spite of the Bible and the stories. I think kind of the Bible cements woman in history as kind of lesser beings, and I think because of the Bible and because of kind of religion, it's women have kind of in that past history they've kind of decided to take, you know, actually take a big role in this world and kind of feel like they're actually equal, which they are.